honor and a privilege to introduce our next guest, a young and dynamic architect with over 10 years of experience in design and delivery of esteemed construction projects that has led to an innovative career path to evolve as an architect for humanity. She is the founder of social enterprise, the Lighthouse Cohort, in the UAE that actively supports corporate, government, educational institutions, individuals, and NGOs in their efforts to drive value from social and environmental initiatives in the Middle East and Asia. She has effectively held leadership roles as a youth coordinator for International Association for Human Values during the UN's Poverty Campaign, and as a facilitator for the Prison SMART program. SMART standing for Stress Management and Rehabilitation Training. And it gets better. She has empowered many children, youth, and more than 5,000 laborers in UAE through stress relief and life skills workshops. We are most honored to have her here at DTAC 2015 to share her vision, norm-challenging experiences, milestones, and learnings from her journey of a road less traveled. Be prepared to be uplifted and inspired, to lead and to take action.
I focus on empowering the laborers here. I try to take them beyond help. What I want them to do is I want them to take responsibility for themselves, and my ultimate goal is to create responsible citizens out of the millions who work here, and Dubai is home for them. What we teach them is life skills, stress management, also how to contribute effectively besides the work that they are doing. While interacting with them, I could feel that whole anger towards work, not being paid, and there were a lot of different issues. So somewhere there had to be some sort of a communication and management of what they were going through. That is where I thought if I can help them to manage that, at least temporarily. I cannot change the laws or government at that point in time. I can't even give them salary. But if I can help them to take responsibility for themselves and help them to understand how can they be happy with whatever they have, how can they deal with that situation in an effective manner and move on. So if I get a tool which can help them, then I think that is the real help they needed at that point in time. I am a product of every kind deed that people have done to me. So I feel that this is my opportunity to pay it forward. I lost my parents when I was 15, and I wouldn't have reached where I am right now, and I need to keep that circle of giving. You don't need a lot of money to help people, you just need an intention and that one effort to just help, just join and do whatever you can within your capacity. I feel that when you volunteer, you don't just volunteer for a cause. If you're investing your time and effort in something, you need to invest that to bring about a change. That change could be in yourself, or it could be a change that is required in your environment. Let that become a part of your nature. Do not put a label that, oh, I volunteered today. Let it be part of your nature, because you don't know who's watching you and who's taking inspiration from you. There could be a little child next to you or an adult, but if you do it on an everyday basis, if you volunteer and help on an everyday basis, then we can actually bring about that change faster.
I'm Aishwarya, and I'm proud to be with these heroes of Dubai.
join with me in giving a very warm District 20's welcome to one of Dubai's heroes, and I think one of humanity's heroes, Aishwarya.
Thank you for the lovely introduction. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How are we feeling today? Great. Great? Good. Okay, I'm feeling awesome. Today I'm going to share some of my experiences on the road less traveled. And before we start, I just want to share that whichever road you take, have the courage to be good. Wherever there is kindness, there will be goodness. And wherever there is goodness, there will be magic. These words, although from a fairy tale, are realistically the last few words of my mother. These words still reverberate through me, and I look at them as an eternal mantra for living. As you can gather from the video, I lost my parents at an early age, but today, as I stand before you, I feel empowered because I see my past, present, and my future in this one moment. It is empowering because I have come a long way from being the shocked, devastated, angry young girl that I was to becoming an architect by profession, a change maker by choice, and a wild wanderer at heart. I have a longer way to go, which is something I'm really looking forward to. This is a result of taking the road less traveled. We all have our own definition of what the road less traveled is, but I look at it as an exciting journey towards self-discovery and nirvana. You must have heard Robert Frost said in the poem, "Two roads diverged in the woods. I took the one less traveled, and that has made all the difference." Today, I'm going to share with you my humble perspective on what no one else but you could do, what it would look like, and what your relationship to it could be. And while doing that, I'm going to share with you my path, my passion, and give you a brief insight into corporate social responsibility and social enterprise, and my motivation to be part of it. That said, I can assure you that this is not an end in itself, but just a means to one. Let me begin with a story. And like all good stories, it starts like this. Once upon a time, there lived a little girl in the city of Mumbai. She was very smart. And in case you're still wondering, yes, that's me in the picture up there. I'm smart. I grew up in a modern, educated, middle-class family. And like with all middle-class families, education was top priority. However, me being me, I always had that innate desire to blur the line between study and play. And I also got that opportunity when I turned 10, when I happened to visit a military school in India. I was really fascinated by the life of the children there, and mainly the campus. And in my little mind, I was also thrilled to explore this opportunity that might allow me to play more, study less, and contribute to the nation. So I approached my mother and expressed my wish to follow my passion, which I thought was to help the nation. My mother patiently listened to me and in due course decided to send me to a military summer camp for 15 days. I was overjoyed. I decided to do my bit and have some fun. So very soon, I landed with my little backpack near a small village in Maharashtra, all excited and looking forward for my little adventure. The organizers had converted a lovely rural school into a base camp and the classrooms into dormitories. The days were filled with action-packed activities, including sports and physically tiring exercises. Guess what happened after a week? I came back with a broken arm. I realized this approach didn't work for me. A lot of people say, and I agree that now, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can never fool your mom. You agree? Well, like all good mothers, my mom knew me well. All this time, she knew that I was trying to blur the line between study and play. Nevertheless, she allowed me to explore a new area of schooling because she wanted me to explore this path and make the correct choice for myself. In the coming years, I managed to become a champion at swimming, table tennis, and gymnastics, all of which was introduced to me at the military summer camp. And needless to say, my mother was extremely proud and thrilled at her decision to send me to the military camp. Today, when I look back at this story, there is nothing more I can advocate than pushing individuals, children, youth to try activities and new ideas that they have an interest in. It is this very behavior that actually helps them to retain their sense of adventure, curiosity, and an openness to challenge oneself. I feel exploring your ideas, whether they are tried and tested or not, will always get you in touch with yourself. It will help you to discover a side of your personality which you never knew existed. And don't be afraid to turn back if you feel at any point in time that it's not serving your purpose or passion. The key is nothing but to be true to yourself. I'm very grateful to my parents for introducing me and sometimes pushing me to explore my ideas. It taught me to make the most of my experience, whether it is a win or a failure. And that has made a world of difference in my life. But then I lost them at an early age, and it changed me in ways that I can never explain. Well, real education is acquired from the school of hard knocks. When you're thrown into turbulent waters, you learn to swim. You adapt. And losing the only family filled me with a sense of, filled me with that urge to find a sense of purpose. I knew I wanted to do something with my life. I wanted to create an impact. I just didn't know how. I was on a path of discovery that I knew nothing about. So I began experimenting. Inspiration, as people say, is found in the unlikeliest of places. And I found mine in a small village in India. During those years, I was pursuing a degree in architecture and used to travel to different places to complete my assignments. It was late in the evening and raining heavily. I was sitting on an old wooden bench, trying to keep myself dry from the downpour. Next to me was an old lady, about 80 years old. She looked at me with concern and asked me if my parents would be worried about me. I casually said, no, not anymore. Very soon, this small talk turned into a very interesting conversation that changed my life forever. She said, Aishwarya, life is a gift to you. Your immediate circumstances have just pushed you to believe that life is meaningless and uncertain. However, I encourage you to look at your life in a completely different way. I want you to look at your life as a clean, white canvas that is ready to showcase whatever you want to project on it. You are the maker of your destiny. She continued, do you realize that people have to struggle to take their own decisions? They have to navigate through relationships to live a life that they really want for themselves. Do you realize the amount of freedom and potential for development that life has offered you at such a young age? Don't let this time pass by. Make the most of it, work on it, and go live the life you really want to live for yourself. I had heard that grandma holds your tiny hands for a while, but your heart's forever. I hold this anonymous grandma in my heart, even today. I really, in that one moment, it's a little difficult to explain, but I felt that the whole world was my playground. I had nothing more to lose, and I was free to take on whatever came my way. It is just really amazing how strangers you meet on your journey can have such a powerful impact on you that it changes the course of your life. I was curious to see what lay ahead. So armed with no experience, minimum resources, good old wisdom from mom, and some assuring guidelines from a stranger I met at the crossroads, I created a colorful bucket list for myself. That day, I opened myself to uncertainty and took my first conscious step on the road less traveled. I soon graduated in architecture with honors, and it was during that time that I was drawn to Dubai because the construction was booming. What a great time to be an architect, I thought. I made an effort, and I was delighted when I was hired to work on a project on Palm Jumeirah. I had truly started believing that when you project ideas into the universe starts manifesting around. And that's how I landed in Dubai. By the time I reached my late 20s, I had spent enough time in Dubai to call it my home. I had traveled across continents, and I was enjoying experiencing life and the world anew. My bucket list was smiling back at me. Then the recession hit the market, and life, as we knew it, changed. I was fortunate to sail through, but many didn't. So like many others, I also decided to put in my time and effort to help whoever needed it. At that particular time, I started helping out migrant workers first as an extension of my job as a site architect. And during that time, I started noticing that there were many visionaries who were looking at the brighter side of the picture and experimenting with corporate social responsibility, entrepreneurship, and philanthropy. At a certain point, I realized that philanthropy was reorganizing itself before my very own eyes. I loved this new entrepreneurial energy around me, which was emerging from various quarters. It was driven by new leaders, most of them in their late 20s, and also driven by new modules, pressures, and tools. I was taking it all in, learning as I grew. I learned a lot of lessons during that period. One of them, the most important one that resonated with me, was charity and aid will not solve poverty for yourself and others. Somewhere along the line, I was also inspired by the words of Adam, who's the founder of the non-profit Pencils of Promise. He said, "Speak the language of the person you want to become." I had unknowingly started speaking the language of the person I wanted to become. If anybody asked me during that period, "What do you do?" I used to say, "I'm working as a design architect with a South African company, but very soon I'm going to find a way to do something in the area of social responsibility." So besides volunteering, I started participating in different CSR and entrepreneurship forums, contributed wherever I could, and kept a lookout for avenues or ideas for my growth. But the reality was I was in Dubai, and at a very critical point in history, due to recession, I had to take that decision for myself. Should I continue with my lucrative job, or should I genuinely pursue to be the person I wanted to be? Wise men say, take the little decisions with your mind and the big ones with your heart. I followed my heart, and I can cheerfully tell you, I have no regrets. I decided to be your heart will never lead you wrong. That's what I believed, and I did it. I have also believed, and most of you will also agree, that traveling and immersing yourself in different experiences helps you to discover yourself. So instead of jumping to a conclusion, I decided to go on a sabbatical in India. At the same time, I also traveled to Singapore and spent more time learning about CSR, social enterprise, and sustainability. When I came back to India from Singapore, I was drawn to the children and their plight. I got involved with an organization in my hometown that rescues children from railway platforms, rehabilitates them, works with the police and different NGOs, and then makes an effort to return these kids back to their parents so that we avoid the number of orphans in this world. That said, there are always some children which cannot be returned back to their parents. So these children were sent to rural residential schools instead of orphanages. After few assessments and visits, I proposed a school program for some of the rural residential schools managed by the state government of Maharashtra, India. The program, facilitated in collaboration with an NGO, helped the children to get over their immediate trauma and also nurtured an overall development within their curriculum. The wind beneath my wings were my awesome volunteers and supporters who put faith in that project. And very soon, we were able to reach out and make a difference to more than 700 children within 45 days. This time, armed with my local and international volunteering experience, I found myself focused on building a platform to create possibilities and opportunities for whoever needs it. I had started speaking the language of the person I wanted to be, and this time, it was incredibly real. That said, I really want to highlight at this point that following your own passion or the road less traveled really does not give you the right to become a liability on others. Take responsibility for your own passion and your own path. Equip yourself with whatever you need to walk on that path, whether it is money or training. Plan it, learn it, do it. Do whatever it takes and take responsibility. Because I can assure you that the joy, confidence, and respect that you will gain out of going through this process with responsibility is something so unique that each one of you should experience it. So I came back to Dubai, my home, with all the required certifications to operate as a CSR professional. I did an internship with a construction company, then worked with an event management company for some time to develop their CSR wing. I reached a critical point after this where I strongly realized that there was profit and then there was non-profit, and these were traditionally separate. But that need not be the case anymore. There was an emerging generation that believed that these two can intersect, where it's not just about making the world a better place, and it's not just about advancing yourself, but we can always have a balance of both if we want to attain a sustainable goal. I was quite influenced and convinced by the approach taken by Acumen, which is a non-profit international organization that invests in business ideas for social good. At this juncture, I was fortunate that my good friend from Dubai, Dia Khalil, who I also call my Arabic brother and my best critic in Dubai, pushed me on yet another road less traveled. He pushed me to participate in the Acumen Social Enterprise Competition in 2013. My idea was one of the top 10 ideas in Dubai. Needless to say, but I was a little overwhelmed and thrilled. Besides introducing me to the term social enterprise, this competition groomed me at many levels, and my mentor helped me to work around a sustainable business model while making a change in the community and the environment. Needless to say, it gave me the confidence and the know-how to implement my idea within the UAE's legal framework. So with my newfound purpose and powered by my passion to change myself and my environment, I founded the Lighthouse Cohort, technically a for-profit company that focuses on creating social change by impacting at the grassroots level. We at the Lighthouse Cohort are a group of like-minded professionals who have come together for a purpose, that is to draw maximum value from corporate resources for social good. I believe that we shouldn't look at a dream as something way off in the distance, but as something that needs to be actively chased by you and me. I didn't reach my dream within my deadline, or my extended deadline, or even my extended deadline. It took me more than 3 long years to reach my dream. The coolest part about this business is that every project we work on opens possibilities and opportunities for somebody somewhere in this world. And what is particularly cool is that we like what we do, and we do what we like. At the same time, everywhere I go, including this event today, I see a moral hunger. Everybody is still struggling to describe what is this new thing that is in the market, what is this social enterprise, and what is this thing that has gained momentum in the last few years. Sorry. We also have many other terms with regards to the same. Philanthrocapitalism, natural capitalism, blended value, venture capitalism, micro-philanthropy, philanthropreneurs, I can go on. Me, like many others, are waiting so that we can arrive at one term that can actually help us to make more difference. Whatever you call it, it is new, it is beginning, and we really think it's going to be legendary. As of today, I feel we have come a long way in this field, and I have many reasons to be hopeful that this movement will evolve beautifully for the benefit of many. The Lighthouse Cohort has worked with NGOs, non-profits, big and small companies over the last year and a half to add value to the community and change the thought process in the corporate world. We have begun to blur the line between work and play. Last week, we worked with Beacon Energy Solutions to launch the Solar Project, which is a CSR initiative by Beacon's Energy Solutions. It involves students between the grades 6 to 8 cooking a packet of noodles in a simple to use solar cooker that the students assembled themselves. The inspiration for this project is from India, where they had the largest solar cooking session early this year with a participation of more than 15,000 students, which went into the Guinness Book of World Records. Through this CSR initiative, Beacon Energy Solutions and our partners aim to break the Guinness Book of World Record in Dubai in October 2015, with a potential participation of more than 20,000 students only in Dubai. We have already reached 250 within 2 weeks through our pilot program. For the Lighthouse Cohort, this is just the beginning of our road trip. As rightly said by the founder of Life is Good, we are trying to create a life we don't need a vacation from. We are trying to create a moment of people, a true citizen philanthropy within the legal framework. And we have many exciting projects lined up. My story will never be complete without being grateful to my friends, volunteers, mentors, and Dubai as a city that embraced me as its own and provided me with platforms at many levels to live my dreams. It has taken me, honestly, it has taken me more than 20 years of living, truly living, to bring this transformation in myself. And it is very important for me to find my purpose and passion. I took the road less traveled, and that has made all the difference. I realized on this road that my purpose is nothing but to live my life to the fullest, and my passion is to serve by creating opportunities for others. Not necessarily underprivileged, but anybody who rightly deserves it, so that they and their children can just live a life of purpose and dignity. Lastly, I say it with immense pride that my mother was my first guru, and her unique wisdom has been a great influence on my life. In her honor, today, I offer you this blank slide. I want you to look closely at this slide, and please close your eyes. Imagine if there was one sentence on that slide which would stare back at you and tell you, who do you really want to be? What would the idealized version of you be saying to you? What would that be? Please go ahead and speak the language of the person you want to become. I hope you have your answer. And if not, please don't go to sleep today before you answer that question. I wish you the very best on your journey, on the road less traveled. And while you're there, just remember, it's something unpredictable, but in the end, it's right. I hope you have the time of your life. Be happy, spread happiness, all the best. Thank you.
Can you just stand here and I'm going to say a few words? My respectful Toastmasters are sitting down. Stare at those people moving around. As you shared, Aishwarya, when we focus on adding value and when we take the road less traveled, we project ideas into the universe and the universe replies, and it brings us magic. A sincere, heartfelt thank you, Aishwarya, for sharing through the most effective form of communication your personal stories.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And thank you for reminding all of us here that the road less traveled comes with responsibility. Responsibility to develop our own skills. And as a Toastmaster, I see what happens in this organization at grassroots level. And I see each one of these Toastmasters here developing skills in communication and leadership and in mentorship in their clubs so that they too can follow such a passion. A quote we heard earlier today is, "Our lives are not measured in years. They are measured in the lives of the people that we touch." Aishwarya, your beauty inside and out shows us your youth. But in our eyes, you are old and wealthy in the many lives that you have touched and continue to touch. Thank you. My respectful Toastmasters, do not move. You get to make a decision very soon.